Hello again. It is 20 past 6 in the UK, 20 past 7 in Poland, because I know that there are many people here from Poland who have joined our group. I have managed to look at the streaming settings, but turned out that actually if I am on my laptop I cannot change them, but I also checked the quality on my Facebook page and it seems good enough. It's not superb, and I'll have to for sure work on it, but I hope that's gonna be working tonight for you just fine. Love, sex, money, and empowerment. You have joined that group, so I think I have created the right title for it. There hasn't been much happening here because majority of my live videos been happening on my public profile, Agnés Jasmine on Facebook. I hope that you managed to see some of them. More and more people have started joining those videos live or watching them after. I was actually quite surprised with the number of viewers, but I have noticed that people are very shy to ask questions when the videos are happening in public. Meaning that everyone can see the questions, everyone can see the comments, and some people have asked me some questions. I further realized that it might be a good idea to make the group more private, to bring some live videos to a smaller group in order to in order to I'm sorry to make it easier for you to make you feel more comfortable. Basically, I was thinking, what can I do to make you feel more comfortable when you're asking questions about your goals? Because obviously, we don't want to always share with the whole world, especially on Facebook, about what we are currently working on in our lives, what we are dreaming about, what is it that we want to achieve, what is that we maybe see ourselves like, oh, I didn't do well enough in this area of my life, or something's not working for me. Some topics are quite sensitive, some bring sometimes some nasty comments from other people, or we worry how people might see us, and that happens to everyone. Even if you are quite a confident person who has a stable, realistic, but also appropriate self-esteem, you also sometimes will find yourself worrying about how other people might see you, or some old patterns or thinking might be coming up, like I'm not good enough, something's not for me, I will never be able to do it. What else is the inner critic telling us? Gosh, I don't have enough, for example. I don't know enough, yeah, or I don't have much to offer, or I don't have enough strength, I don't have enough of this or that, I'm not attractive enough, I don't know how to do it, I don't have enough work experience. These are the examples of thoughts that people sometimes think about themselves, and as whilst there might be truth for some, meaning not to yourself, not talking about yourself, what you're thinking about yourself, probably you have heard from someone else, or you are comparing yourself with other people, how much they have achieved, and you think that you have achieved less, you should have achieved more, you should be somewhere else in your life in comparison with those people that you're comparing yourself with. What does it mean that you should, really? I'm not quite sure. But this is the pattern of thinking that comes from judgment, self-judgment, comparison with others, thinking that you are not good enough. I've lost something. There was a thought I wanted to share here, and I've lost it. I don't know if it will come back. If you're gonna be joining me live, you can leave a comment. I'm gonna be able to see it live and respond to it immediately. That's gonna be a great way of interacting and taking this live video further, where you can bring your thoughts, questions here, share with others what you are working on in your life just now, what is that you'd like to see happening in your life. So those critical patterns of thinking that are not helpful to us in our way of achieving goals and reaching for more, believing that we can be successful. It is ourselves who really define what is the success to us. We have a unique individual path in life. Everyone's life is a bit different. There will be some similarities, but there will be also differences. And as we grow older, the differences also grow because some events happen, some events that are unavoidable, like for example, death of parents, or some events that happen to many people but not to all of them, like having a child and then another child, yet another child, and yet another child. Some people nowadays have still even 5, 6 children. Most people have one or two, but still there are people who have 5 or 6 in the Western world. The other event could be that doesn't happen to many people, to all people, all the people, but to many, is a marriage, and then obviously divorce. And as I've mentioned recently in my live video on my main profile, the rate of divorce in Europe at the moment is nearly 40% in Europe and in the UK, in different countries. It varies from country to country, but everywhere it's nearly 40%. So more than every third marriage is breaking up at some point nowadays. So some things happen sooner to others than to you. Some things you will still experience, some other things you will not experience. So that comparison that somebody else has been through something or has achieved something or has experienced something, like having a child or being married, or the other comparison that often people have is career path, right? So if you've been promoted yet, how many times you have changed your employer and you have progressed with your career, what is your educational level, and so on and so on. This is the other area of our life when we often compare ourselves with others. And then of course money, right? Money is a big one because it shows apparently our power. It shows who we are. It helps us to express ourselves. So it's not only about getting goods and having access to some experiences in life and not the others. For example, exclusive holidays, right? Some luxury items, a very luxurious car, yeah, amazing holidays abroad, and so on and so on. So some people have access to those, some people don't. But in our Western world, those goods, luxurious goods, are not just in a way for yourself, they're also to show to others that you can afford them. Therefore, there can be another pattern of thinking emerging, thinking you are somebody special, or all your friends will be similar to you and you never will be making friends with somebody who cannot afford this quality of a car or this kind of holidays, and so on and so on. Another area of comparing with other people is successes, educational successes of children. So which school the child goes to, if it's a private school or a public school, in which area, in which town, of course, which university, and so on and so on. It's like a huge comparison game there, and it's often mentioned as so might look like in passing, the dinner table with friends in a nice restaurant where the children will be going after the college, and so on and so on. And at some point, it happens to all of us. We start seeing what other people do with their lives, what they have achieved, how they are able to support themselves and their children if they have them, what are their life choices, and we start naturally comparing ourselves. We're thinking, oh, that person has this and that, and I don't have it. This person has managed to achieve this and that, and I haven't achieved it. And first thing, when you do it, ask yourself first, stop yourself, notice that you are doing it. As that's the first thing always. Just notice that you are going into that pattern of comparing yourself. And literally, if you are serious about achieving your own goals and focusing on your life, loving yourself enough to show yourself to your dreams in a way, you know, showing who you are, being in the world the way you are, and believing in yourself, working constantly on your dream or your goal, and work on your self-esteem as well, of course. That's also a never-ending story in a way, but it doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be hard work, although it is in a way, but it can be also fun. It can be something to look forward to. It can be something that brings you that when you start seeing results of it, brings you a lot of satisfaction first of all, and increases your motivation to keep on going, but also increases your level of happiness because you know yourself better, you are important to yourself, you show up in a way to yourself and to your life every day, and you feel free to choose what you're doing with your life. And that's the biggest thing, really, freedom. I should have mentioned that probably in the title of that video, because what I have mentioned here, love, sex, money, empowerment, or power, right, at the title of that video, that's a bit catchy, but also it's also truth, right? Because many people want it. Many people want to have good sexual life, high quality of money. Other thing that people want is health, also safety for themselves and the family, and being loved, and so on and so on. But what is underneath is often much deeper than that. Is that, sorry, I'm just trying to see how I look at the camera because it does sometimes it does a funny thing with my shoulders, and I don't want to look like ooh or ooh, you know, just yeah, it's a funny thing because actually maybe I need to check my shoulders on my next yoga session. Sorry, that was just me being self-aware here, how I look like. I wonder if Facebook can show me if somebody is live with me just now, or if I can send the invitations to join me live. I haven't used the live video on that group before. This is a new facility that I'm trying to learn how to use to make the best out of it. Invite. Can I invite? And great to invite a few people. If you will be watching it and you will know how to do it, then let me know. It used to be a bit easier when I'd done those videos in the past. It was like a button. It was so easy to be found to invite people live. Maybe it's not possible anymore. I'll have to find out. It would be amazing to have some questions asked. I cannot find this button really, how to invite people live. Maybe it's not here anymore. I'll have to check it. The flow of the slide video will turn into a conversation, and it definitely would bring some more sparkles. It would turn into a discussion. But I'm gonna continue nevertheless, and you can watch it later. Hopefully over time there will be people joining live and asking questions. I will have to probably schedule the live video beforehand and send you the information that it's gonna happen, because this is the one that hasn't been announced. I just decided to try to use this facility as I was thinking about how to make sure that everyone feels comfortable asking questions live, and I thought the private group would be a much better experience to share questions as a viewer, as yourself. Okay, maybe not tonight, but I'll come back to it. If there is a specific topic that you would like me to bring here, you can also leave it in a comment underneath this video. I will read it and I will definitely bring it up next time. So let's go back to this topic of self-criticism and achieving goals. When we start comparing ourselves with other people, it definitely will affect our path towards achieving, because it will actually stop us. We will be getting stuck in those negative patterns of thinking. What is important when we want to reach for more is, first of all, really to stop judging ourselves, stop comparing ourselves with others, and set our goals really clearly. Setting ourselves a clear goal means that it's not a general wishful thinking. For example, next winter I will go for nice holidays abroad. It's getting a bit specific, and it's a good start. It's more specific than I would like to have a nice winter next year. And then, in order to stay focused on that goal, we need to narrow it down. We need to think about what is it to us that it's somewhere nice, how long we would like to go for, and how we would like this holiday really to look like. Do we want to go with just ourselves or with other people? Which destination? So we're going more and more specific about it, and then we start actually planning it. So we are checking the flights, we are checking the accommodation, we are checking our budget, we are checking what we would like to do there. Yes, so we're doing some research on what is there to be seen, what kind of holidays we would really like. Is it gonna be more like beach holidays, sunny holidays, hiking, something active like sports, or would you like to see art museums, or would you like maybe to go for a group session and play tennis or learn surfing or do some yoga, or is it going to be a spiritual holiday where you're going for spiritual workshops, retreats, and so on and so on. So you need to ask yourself more specific questions. And it's the same with any other goal. You can start with something that feels even quite big at the beginning, but then you need to narrow it down and make a plan and schedule how you're gonna attend to that task. And many people do it. We do it. All people actually have plans and goals, but we don't always realize that. Because the plan that you're gonna, for example, stock up the cupboards for the winter, or on Sunday you're going, every Sunday you're going shopping, yeah, over the winter. We're talking about winter specifically now because it's December, Christmas. Or you're planning the Christmas dinner with your family, and you're planning what you're gonna make, who you're gonna invite, how you're gonna send the invitations, what time it's gonna be, what you'd like to ask maybe your guests to bring over, if anything, right? Who's gonna be present, Would you like to ask somebody from the family to come earlier to help you to set up everything or help you with cooking if you're cooking? Or would you prefer for people to bring their own contribution and bring some nice dishes for the table, and so on and so on? Are you going to share presents? How are you going to inform your guests about your idea? Yeah, and so on and so on. So from I want to have a nice Christmas dinner, we're going to a specific plan. And that's the case of every dream. So you probably have already achieved many, many plans and goals, but now when we're thinking about dreams, we're thinking about something bigger that doesn't always seem to be possible to make happen in real life. We look at dreams as maybe one day, or oh, I wish I could have done it when I was younger, now it's too late, or I'd like to experience this again, or will I ever be having time and money to do it, and so on and so on. So we're thinking about dreams in general, like, oh, it would be nice to have it, it would be nice to see it happening in my life, but probably it's not possible. Or I'll do it one day. So it's very, very, very general. And then perhaps, and I think it's a good thing, perhaps we bump into someone one day that has actually done something similar that we have been dreaming about. Or perhaps we bump into an occasion, or we see something, an article in the magazine. And some people call it that they say that university speaks to us. So this is, some people interpret it like that. My interpretation of this is just maybe a bit easier, I don't know, is that you didn't really give up on your dream. You wouldn't be bumping that person, you wouldn't notice that person, you wouldn't be reading that article, you wouldn't be finding that information somewhere, that somebody somewhere else has done what you were always dreaming of doing, that somebody else has experienced in their life something that you were dreaming to experience yourself. If you bump into a person, or you read an article, or you are looking, even sometimes it's an advert, right? And you're like, oh my god, that was always my dream, I'm not doing it. And you just, sometimes this is without thinking, you're just looking at it, and you might feel like little squeezing, like feeling in your belly, like, that was my dream. Is this still my dream? Is it still achievable? Do I still have time to make it happen? In my view, this means that your dream is still alive in you, and that also means if it's still alive in you, that's possible to make it happen. Otherwise, it wouldn't be knocking on your doors to notice that it's there. A dream is something that tells us that we are important, our life is important, but also that our life will be at some point over. Our time on earth will finish. And we have a specific time frame on earth also to make some dreams a reality. For example, only to a certain age a woman can become a mother, only to a certain age a man can become a father, only to a certain point you can access some specific career routes in life, only to a certain point your body is healthy enough to do a specific activity, some types of sports, for example. When you get older, it will not be possible to do them anymore, it will be too risky to do them probably. For some people, they feel maybe that they're too old to learn another language, or to learn to play an instrument. I'm not quite sure if that's true, but especially when you get older, your body starts having aches, it's not so flexible anymore. So for sure you wouldn't be able, for example, to learn to play the piano the way somebody young can play it when her or his fingers are still working very, very, very well, like a young person, right? Because of course over time you can get, for example, arthritis. And it might sound like pessimistic or scary, but it's realistic. There's a time frame for how much time we have in order to experience something in life, something specific. And then other doors still remain open. Sometimes we don't see them straight away, but even if some dreams cannot be made into reality anymore, for sure there are other dreams that can start growing in you, and you can see them happening. Life has that amazing ability to renew itself, and a human being, every human being in my view, has that amazing ability to dream and to make their dreams come true. But to make your dreams come true, it's not something that you buy in a shop, it's something that you work on. And first thing is to turn your dream into your goal. Make it specific. Sometimes that requires making it much smaller at first. Doesn't mean that the biggest dream is out of the picture. For example, I'm gonna be personal. One of my dreams is to have an art exhibition in New York, and I have set myself a time frame for that. I'm gonna be 56 years old. So I have 16 years to achieve it. Seems like a long time, but to me as a person who wasn't born in States, who wasn't even born in a rich country, and who wasn't born in capitalist culture, although now it is capitalist, but it wasn't when I was born, because Poland, where I come from, was communist and not capitalist at the times when I was born. And to a person who was born in the countryside just like me, and who was actually working from the age of 18 while doing full-time studies and so on and so on. I didn't have financial support from my parents, not much. I had a little bit from my father, but very little occasionally, really like ridiculous sums of money. For that person, everything that she was working on in her life excuse me, took a long time. Much longer than somebody, for example, who was given as a gift their first car when they are 17 years old, okay, or 19 years old, 20 years old, you have a car. I remember that I lived in a dorm during studies, and a student dorm, and there were many cars parked around our little dorm village. There were 5 dorms out there in Gdańsk. If you are from Gdańsk, I'm sending warm greetings to you. And there were many cars parked there, and this weren't the cars belonging to any staff. There weren't even many staff members, and actually the staff members at the dormitories were, I think, nearly all of them were women, apart from handymen, but ladies at the reception, or ladies who were cleaners. Their salaries were so low that probably most of them didn't have a car unless they had support from their husbands or other family members. Because on that level of salary, wouldn't be able to have a car. And I remember how shocked I was at some point when I realized that other students at my age not only have cars, some of them had also very expensive cars. I couldn't afford a car. Also, it wasn't my goal at that time to have it, because that's another thing. Because if it was my goal, perhaps I would make it happen. And my goal was, I was focused on my studies and supporting myself with work. And because I was studying full-time, it wasn't possible to commit more hours to work to earn more money. So I didn't even think about cars at that time. But I remember how shocked I was that other students had those cars. And it dawned on me many years later that they were given them by their parents. I didn't even think about it back then. So you see, a person who has achieved a lot in their life, you can compare yourself with them and think, oh my God, they're so successful. But then look at where they were starting from. Look at their start point. And I'm sharing that personal experience of mine to show you that we can dream about something that is big. And to some, this is something impossible. It will never happen. To some other people, it's like, oh, why are you not going to do it earlier? You should do it just now. Well, depends what are your resources at the moment, your health level, your other goals, other things that you attend to your life. Also, if you have children or not, obviously. Or if you have aging parents, or you are a caregiver, or where you live in the world. It's not going to be the same for you to work on the same goal as it is to another person, because that other person has a different life situation and a different path. And my dream about having an art exhibition in New York when I'm gonna be 56, and I don't know why I said 56, but I knew when I was thinking about it, how much time do I need to achieve it? I felt that last year actually, that I was 17 years back then when I was younger, 1 year younger, 1 year less. Will it happen? Let's see. In 16 years, we will know. But in my view, it's not a bad idea to set yourself goals that are really taking much time to achieve. It is important, however, to have also goals that don't take much time to achieve. because setting yourself goals and working on them actually teaches you a lot, strengthens you, helps you to build new skills and your confidence, and also you will meet new people from different circles, different backgrounds, and that will help you tremendously. You will have to open up more, learn more, keep on learning, and in a way, you will have to also learn how to be humble and how to also deal with life difficulties while you're actually reaching for more. And that reaching for more over time literally becomes a habit. You get bored if you will not. You will get bored if you will not set yourself up another goal. You literally start being bored because your abilities grow and grow and grow, and you're just getting used to it. It's the same as with exercise. It's the same with a new skill that you actually start enjoying. So, for example, driving. At the beginning, for some people, driving feels very scary. It feels like I cannot do it. It's not for me. But for I'm not now talking about people to them who, excuse me, to which driving comes naturally and they feel great behind the wheels from the very first time they go into a car. I'm talking about people who feel a bit scared of driving, but for example, they decide they have to do it. Sometimes for themselves, and sometimes, for example, to take children to school or to, I don't know, do shopping for their aging parents. So they have also sometimes the reason to do it, not because of themselves, but because of somebody in the family, and that gives them the motivation, even though the thought of driving is scary to them, okay? Or for any other reason. So to such a person, for example, learning to drive can be a nightmare. It might take a few years even. They might be changing schools, they might be changing the teachers, they might be failing the test many times. Yet, what is the one thing that they don't do here? They don't give up. And eventually, they get it. They learn how to drive and then they pass the test eventually. Then they have their car, they start driving on their own, and eventually it becomes like a habit that they don't even, this new skill becomes a habit that they don't even think about. They can chat with another person in the car when they are driving. They don't know even when the time has passed when they got from the point A to B that they wanted to get to. Yet at the beginning it was difficult. So that's really a simple example. Simple because it relates to many people. Many people experience this way. And I want to tell you that's the very same thing with any other goal in your life. When we are working on our goals, it's good to remind ourselves that we have already been through some journey, we've been through some experiences, and we have that experience of being scared or something, or feeling like it's not for me, but actually I want to do it. We have motivation, we learn it, and it gets easier and easier and easier over time. We kind of forget that we have even used to, that we even used to be afraid of it. Okay, we used to not. We used to think it's not for us. Okay, so it can be like that with any other goal in your life. And now I'm gonna take it even further. That applies to any area of your life. And I'm gonna bring that fashionable three words again: love, sex, money, and of course power. Why power? Because we need to feel strong enough and powerful enough in order to tell ourselves, yes, I want it, and this is for me. I can have very happy, loving relationships, and by this I mean not only romantic relationships, but also with your friends and family members, and first of all with yourself. Love includes many people, and apart from family members and friends, can include, for example, people from your church, people from your volunteering group, people that you travel with to other countries, people you've met on your last spiritual retreat, and so on and so on. Love has many faces. Also, your pets. Yes, we all love our pets, our dogs, our cats, hamsters. I don't know what you have. If you have a snake, perhaps, maybe your friends think they're not gonna tell you because they like you, obviously, but maybe they think this is that your weird part of yourself. But for sure, you love your snake, and I bet that your snake also, in a way, loves you. That's also love. Okay, so love has many faces. Now, sex. Oh, that's a topic, right? That's a hot topic, and I should probably dress differently for it and be a goddess of sex on the camera on Facebook. I hope they're not gonna block me for saying it, because probably there are some taboo words that I haven't realized yet. Sex. Big topic, a bit of a taboo, a bit less of a taboo maybe now to speak about, but it seems sometimes that the more people seem to be confident on the outside about it, we can recognize sometimes that it's just uh, showing off, really. It's a false confidence. Why? Because sexual life is very private, very intimate. It's not something to share with everyone. It's something to share with people who are the most close to you, or perhaps if you are I, it's difficult for me to relate to it a bit because I don't have that experience, but I know that nowadays in big cities, for example, there are sex parties, swinger parties, when you can have group sex and so on and so on. Again, I don't know if Facebook will cut me off for saying it, but this is how it is. So maybe it's worth to bring it up. So sex is not always about intimacy. Sometimes it's about fun. Also, of course, safety. Yes, because you don't want to become pregnant when you don't want to become pregnant with a stranger after such a party. Also, you want to make sure that you are safe, that you're gonna come back safe, homely. If you're gonna safely come back home, if you are deciding to go back home, or if you decide to take the experience further with just one person from that group or two people from that group, you want to make sure that you are safe and it's not gonna turn into a rape, right? So this is a very serious topic actually, because we're thinking about sex first thing. Oh, it's fun. It's not only fun because it comes with responsibility. It's responsibility for yourself and for another person. You don't want to get any diseases. You don't want to pass any disease. It can be fun connection, almost like if you were going for a bike ride with somebody. Great fun experience, and then goodbye. Right? So that's that thing. But then not so often is mentioned that there is another side of it, and it's good to look at how do you gonna make sure that you're safe, and also that physically safe. Yes, that there's not gonna be any violence, sexual violence developing in the relationship or at the event. Many relationships, unfortunately, turn into something that haven't been at the beginning, and sometimes that includes violence and sexual violence, and these are still topics of taboo because in our society would like to think that these things happen only to some and not to others, and there's a lot of blame there. It's almost like if something bad happened to you, it's your fault because you didn't make sure that it will not happen. Rape can happen to anyone. Sexual abuse happens also at work to people. It also happens sometimes in private relationships, or even often. Apparently, the statistics show that, although I'm not quite sure how trustworthy statistics are, because there's not enough research about women's health, sexual health, and women's safety in a public and at work and in a family life done, because it's not a topic that brings lots of attention in terms of funds, grants for research, money. Yes, so power. Where does the research go to other topics that are not similar or not relevant to that topic on our life, and specifically women, because obviously women's safety in sexual life is different to men's safety. Having said that, men also can be put at risk. They also can experience rape, for example, from other men. So apart from fun, part of life, sex is also about safety, and then diseases and everything else. So you see, it's very being on the ground, on the earth, realistic, and sometimes even a little bit boring perhaps, but that boring side of life really helps us to enjoy it more, because being safe is always your first thing, whichever goal or dream you want to make truth. Being safe is the first thing. You need to learn how to take care of yourself while you are learning something new, or expanding your skills, expanding your experience, and reaching new territory. So it's better to do it step by step, slowly, a little bit, before going further. Although some people have that kind of personality when they like risk and they like trying things like all of a sudden, right? And sometimes it comes, unfortunately, with really um, sad consequences or difficult consequences. So some examples could involve the extreme sports. Some people really like extreme sports, but they are also causing sometimes death. Yeah, so again, sports, fun, a great experience, sometimes in a group, excitement, and so on, and sometimes also bringing injuries, serious injuries, losing, for example, the ability to walk till the end of your life. Yeah, I've once met somebody who as a child actually has lost an ability to walk till the end of their life, and that happened because of the rugby match that they were playing in the rugby team. And after one of them, they've played for a few years, and being 11 years old, he has lost ability to walk till the end of his life. I've met him when he was 26. So that was a few years ago, and you see, these things happen, fun, but also safety. We need to balance those things. And then money. Money, again, brings many different feelings in many different people. Um, Check how it is for you. I don't want to go too much into details just now. This is another big area where we tend to criticize ourselves, just the same as with sex, just the same with the loving relationships. We tend to compare ourselves with others, criticize ourselves. What we can do about it is to set ourselves goals and work on it and increase our self-belief, understand where we come from, what is our starting point, and where we want to get to. Think about the time, how we're gonna achieve it, learning from others, taking courses, sometimes learning from our own mistakes. Keep on going is the first thing. So with money, financial goals is the same. If you had a difficult start in your financial life, for example, you couldn't afford to move out from your parents' place until you were in your 30s. So that has delayed your start into adulthood. Or let's say you have moved out from your parents' place at some point in your life. Maybe you were 25, for example, but in your 30s you have lost your job and you had to go back to your parents' home in order to have that time to find another job. Okay, so you had setbacks in a way, or you can think about it in this way. Your path towards achieving a financial success will be different to that person who has, after moving out of their parents, never gone back, or also moving out from their parents' place, never decided to never come back, even if they could. Because that decision that I'm not gonna go back is also very powerful, because that's taking responsibility, and it doesn't have to be to do with a difficult family home. It can be to do with that person wanting really to live on their own, have that adult responsibility, experience adult responsibility, and have more choice and freedom, but also really working hard in order to have that money and that private space. Because obviously, if you live with your parents or you lean on them for too long in your life, at some point you will feel like powerless. Because where is your power? It's almost like if you were still a child and your parents were your caregivers, but you are an adult person. An adult person has a capacity to take care of themselves and also has an adult power that involves sexuality and money. Money making, love making, and also choice over who you're gonna invite to your life to create that loving life full of people that you like, that you want to spend time with, that you can also support each other, give to each other. And that, like I said, and I think it's important to repeat it, that doesn't involve only romantic relationships. So I've been here chatting for 45 minutes and nobody has asked any questions. I'm not sure if somebody's live with me. This is a small group, only 60 persons, but private, which is good. I think I'm gonna invite more people to this group to see what's gonna happen, if there will be some comments coming up, and I will be coming here more often. But the live videos on my main profile on Facebook will continue as well. We meet there every Sunday at 7 p.m. and this coming Sunday is the last one before Christmas, and then we're gonna meet in the I'm gonna check the calendar actually, because I need to know it for myself as well. Excuse me please, that's gonna take just a second. yes, we're gonna come back with the live videos after New Year from the 11th of January. So this live video, this coming Sunday, this week is the last one before Christmas and New Year break. And we're gonna come back. I'm gonna come back in my main profile of the live videos on the 11th of January. And I would like to also announce once more that there will be a Facebook, not, yes, sorry, there's two groups are starting. One group is gonna be on Zoom and another one is gonna be on Facebook. What does it mean? On Zoom, we're gonna be live with cameras on. It's gonna be up to 16 person for men and women, and that group starts at the beginning of February, and I will announce it soon with more details, but it's starting. It's gonna last 12 weeks, and we're gonna meet bi-weekly for 2 hours. That's the format that seems to be working really well for people. And then the other group will start in the spring, and I don't know yet if it's gonna be March or April, and that's gonna be a big group but private on Facebook, where we're gonna have specific tasks and specific goals to work on, and we're gonna be in the process together in a group to achieve it. But it's gonna be more affordable because there will be no a possibility to join me live on the camera there. It's gonna be still a possibility to post in a group, to participate by writing comments and sharing your experience, and this group will be a platform to share the exercises and live videos with the persons who's gonna join. But it's gonna be much bigger. That's gonna be a group for everyone who would like to join it. So we will see how many people will participate. It's gonna be a private group on Facebook. So we're gonna have one on Zoom, and these are groups that will be paid, but I haven't decided yet how much. I'm still in the process of making some financial decisions and evaluation of my work and what I can offer in those groups to people who are working on their dreams or want to start working on their dreams and turn them into their goals in order to see them happening in real life. So this is, I think, everything for today. My name is Agnés Jasmine. I am the artist. I'm an artist and the author of Empowerment Through Creative Process Coaching program that I have created for groups and for individuals in order to help people to see their dreams coming into reality. The program is author, but I don't take it just from my, let's say, intuition or wishful thinking or my ideas. It comes from many years of my work for different institutions, organizations, and companies in Poland and Scotland. I've started working when I was 18. When I was 36, I've decided to take a break, and then I started creating my own business as an artist and a coach. So a new endeavor, although now it's been a few years now, but still new to me, I would say. Lots been learned, and there's still plenty to look forward to and learn even more. It's quite exciting. So this experience I also bring in, apart from the 18 years working for employers, but being self-employed for the last few years as an artist and a coach. And apart from it, so that's my professional experience, and then my educational background in pedagogy, which I hold masters in, 5 years full-time studies in Gdańsk, University of Gdańsk, sending warm greetings if you are from Poland or specifically from Gdańsk. Maybe you even finished the same university as me, sending more greetings to you. And then also from studies, also full-time in sociology. And then 1 year post-diploma at Jagiellonian University in Krakow. That's the gender studies that I really valued a lot because it gave me a very specific perspective on life, both in private and public areas and spaces and aspects of it. Gender means relationships between women and men, private and public relationships. So that has really affected my way of seeing the world. and saying another person, another human being. That sounds very, very maybe like a serious thing, but as a, it will always stay with me, because in our pedagogical studies, the human being was always like a center of discussion. And then I've realized when I started studying gender that a human being is either a woman or either a man. Sometimes, of course, there's a fluid identity as well, and some people don't identify with neither, but most people identify as men or as women, and of course that influences all other areas of our lives. Not only because we can be pregnant as women, but also because we, for example, still are in the process of gaining more power, both in private and public relationships. So I'm really curious if this group that starts in Facebook, if it will also bring men in, because there are men sometimes joining me live on those live videos. So I know that there is an interest in the topic I'm talking about, but I must say I'm very cautious about those viewers, because over the years, just as think as many other women who run businesses online and come live on Facebook, sometimes unfortunately there are men who come over not in order to participate or not in order to learn something or gain something for themselves. It's more about just having fun, really, and looking at someone whose life and perhaps they found it attractive. I find to look at that person, and I think it's quite dodgy and not great experience. So I sometimes block people who do it, because it's easy to recognize that actually after some time. And I think that's an experience of many other women, unfortunately. And that's also one of the areas of life that you as a woman learn how to deal with, and men, I don't, sometimes they don't want to acknowledge that it is like that. To women, they don't want to see it, that their sisters, their mothers, their wives, their friends, their colleagues, women colleagues, women friends face this, and women often give up on even letting men know, because they think that they should know, they should realize that they should pay more attention, they should be more caring, they should take more responsibility to enhance women's safety. I have my own view on that, but that's beyond the topic of this live video. But yeah, that's one of the dimensions of gender, looking at the safety at any given area of your life. How does it look like from the perspective of a woman and a man? And that is also relevant to goals and dreams, because obviously when you want to reach for more, you're gonna make sure that you are safe. So that gender perspective is very important to me. It's very important to me to look and take into consideration the research that shows different dimensions of women's and men's experience. So I don't draw only from my private life or from the experiences of my friends or from my professional life and experiences of my clients, who sometimes, with their permission, I share a little bit of in those live videos as well. I also look at the research and statistics in order to bring the best quality of work. And the last but not least area of expertise that I draw from in my empowerment through creative process offer as a coach is my experience in being a group member of many spiritual and therapeutic groups over the years. I've started quite early in life. I was maybe 20 or 21. During my studies, I've joined the first group. I remember I was learning the nonviolent communication, also in Gdańsk. Amazing group and great memories. Nonviolent communication and 𝗣cie. Maybe you, if you are a coach, have heard about this method, a beautiful, worldwide known method invented by Marshall Rosenberg. Over the years, I've joined many groups that were from the range of family constellations, non-duality, different frameworks of therapy. So, for example, the process-oriented psychotherapy invented by Arnold and Amy Mindell from Australia, and non-duality teachers from really many different corners of the world, from Poland to States and even Sri Lanka and Australia. Some of those teachers I've met in person, some of them I've met in person but online during pandemic. After pandemic, I finished attending those workshops. But for around 15 years of my life, I was actively taking part both in person and online in many different groups. I've traveled, spent lots of money on them, seeking some answers, but also seeking some connections, I think, of like-minded people. And at some point, when I was creating empowerment through creative process coaching program, I've realized that that experience was invaluable, because it has shown me not only what people seek, but also how many different teachers work and how they approach differently problems that people bring, and how they offer paths for empowerment. And then I became a bit more confident and I said, I'm gonna offer something myself. My last job involved peer work in mental health, was part of the NHS in Scotland. And over there I've realized that within the NHS system, for me personally, there's so many restrictions about how you can support other people, that has made me even more motivated to bring up my own understanding, my own perspective, my own way of supporting others based on the whole of my life and professional experience. Hence the decision to make an 𝗟for program, which I hope will be of value, of support to you, to my viewers, and over time more and more people will be joining us, and also we will bring this work further in the groups that will be both smaller and bigger, but private, because I know that it can be easier and more comfortable for some people to ask questions and share their experience, either in a small group or in a big group, but in a group that has this kind of boundary of privacy, that not everyone can come over and just look and watch and perhaps judge and so on. We don't want that. We want a positive experience. We want to have an experience when we make connections. Also work, apart from groups, I work individually with people. The prices are set up at £120 per hour. Sometimes there are discounts, and there is a discount coming in the new year, from the 12th until the end from 12th until the end of January. There is a discount for one-to-one sessions. Instead of £120, they will cost £90. And I haven't announced it before yet. I'm gonna be announcing it on my profile this week. So you are first ones to know and grab them as they come, because there are limited spaces for those sessions, as I can't just take everyone at the same time. Okay, I think this is gonna be just now everything. Let me know in a comment if there are any questions. I'll probably make a schedule in the new year of those live videos, but I'm glad that I can share them in our group. Thank you for joining me here. I'm gonna be inviting more people. I wondered what will happen next. I'm really excited about seeing that that empowerment through creative process is gaining more popularity, and I'm really looking forward to new year, new goals, new dreams that I can support you in making happen. Sometimes it's not so much about achieving, sometimes it's about changing our belief system and mindset, doing things as well. But achieving is to some people, such a heavy word, and we can change it though. Make things happen, make dreams happen, make dreams a reality. Thank you so much once more. Agnés Jasmine, an artist and empowerment through creative process coach, See you soon again. Good luck with your dreams and goals. Last reminder, I will be live on Facebook on my regular Agnés Jasmine profile this Sunday at 7 p.m. I'm really looking forward to seeing you there. Take care now and see you soon.